You may have seen this iconic figure on screen before, immortalized by the unforgettable performance of Boris Karloff, whose portrayal helped define the classic image of the monster from Frankenstein in popular culture. But this video is not about the many film adaptations that followed. Instead, it explores something far more intriguing. How this story was born. The dark and unexpected origins of the novel that would forever transform the landscape of horror literature. Welcome to the Teller of Tales, your channel of stories. Prepare yourself, because the true story behind Frankenstein is far darker than anything cinema has ever shown. The birth of Frankenstein is tied to a real catastrophe that darkened the skies of an entire planet. In 1815, the massive volcano Mount Tambora erupted in Indonesia, hurling vast clouds of ash into the atmosphere and dimming the sunlight across the globe. The following year, 1816, would become known in the Northern Hemisphere as the Year Without a Summer, a time of bitter cold, failed harvests, relentless storms, and skies that seemed permanently shrouded in shadow. It was within this unsettling atmosphere that the young Mary Shelley, only 19 years old, found herself staying at the secluded Villa Diodati, alongside Percy Bysshe Shelley and the enigmatic poet Lord Byron. With violent storms trapping them indoors night after night, the group passed the time reading dark tales until Byron proposed a challenge. Each of them would attempt to write the most terrifying ghost story imaginable. From that seemingly simple contest would emerge one of the most enduring creatures in all of literature. During this forced retreat, the group spent long nights reading German ghost stories and debating ideas that bordered on the forbidden, among them galvanism, the controversial theory that electricity could stimulate the muscles of a corpse. One night, Mary, a vivid nightmare seized her mind. A young student of science kneeling beside a grotesque being he had just brought to life. The image was haunting, almost prophetic. That disturbing vision would become the foundation of Frankenstein, and Mary resolved to transform the nightmare into a full novel. Contrary to what many believe, Frankenstein is not the name of the monster, but of the man who created it. In the novel Frankenstein, the subtitle, The Modern Prometheus, evokes the ancient myth of Prometheus, the titan who defied the gods by stealing the fire of creation. In the story, Victor Frankenstein is a young student of natural philosophy whose relentless ambition drives him to uncover the secret of life itself. But when his experiment succeeds, triumph turns instantly to dread. Confronted with the grotesque form of the being he has animated, Victor recoils in horror and abandons his creation to face the world alone. The creature depicted in Frankenstein is far removed from the silent monster popularized by cinema. In the novel, the being created by Victor Frankenstein is eloquent, sensitive, and strikingly intelligent. Hidden in the shadows, he secretly observes a humble rural family, and through them, he learns to speak, to read, and to slowly understand the world around him. Yet his tragedy is born from prejudice. Despite possessing a gentle nature at first, he is met with fear, violence, and rejection wherever he goes. Condemned not for his actions, but for his appearance. Abandoned by his creator and cast aside by society, the creature is left alone with an unbearable truth. That isolation can twist even the most innocent spirit into something far darker. And from that loneliness, a thirst for vengeance begins to grow. Published anonymously in 1818, Frankenstein quickly became a sensation, though many readers at the time believed the true author was Percy Bysshe Shelley rather than Mary Shelley herself. The now familiar image of the monster, green skin, bolts in the neck, and a flattened head, would not emerge until more than a century later, with the film Frankenstein, immortalized by the haunting performance of Boris Karloff. Today, the novel is widely regarded as one of the earliest and most influential works of science fiction, confronting unsettling questions about scientific ambition and the moral limits of human creation. Questions that remain disturbingly relevant more than 2 centuries later. The story behind Frankenstein leaves us with a haunting question. Who is the true monster? The creature who was brought into the world only to be feared and abandoned, or the scientist who dared to play the role of a god, then fled from the consequences of his own creation? More than 2 centuries later, the vision of Mary Shelley still lingers like a dark mirror, reflecting humanity's deepest ambitions, its fears, and its prejudices. If you enjoyed uncovering the origins of this haunting literary classic, consider subscribing for more journeys into the shadows of history, literature, and the macabre. Until next time.